Hi, I'm Patrick Brys, and welcome to In the Kitchen at Brys Estate. Well, one of my favorite things about fall is rich and comforting soups. And today we're going to take the earthy flavors of mushrooms, combine them with the silky flavors of our Pinot Noir to create a very memorable cream of mushroom and herb soup. So we've got 3 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to go ahead and dice this up. I just want to mince these. So again, it's all going to be pureed later on, so there's no need to get too critical on this stuff. And we're going to go ahead and chop up an onion. So these onions, I'm just going to cut it crosswise across the middle, and then I'm just going to do a rough kind of chop, and then come down again. Just get a nice even dice. So to the pot, what I'd like to do is go ahead and add some butter. And to that butter, we're going to go ahead and add the onions and garlic. Just give these a little bit of a stir. We're just going to start to soften these down, just get them kind of translucent and kind of giving off their sweetness by letting them saute down a little bit. Okay, so we're just chopping up some mushrooms here. This is 3 8-ounce containers of mushrooms, and I chose Baby Bella. Baby Bella is a little bit more, I don't know, it's a baby portobello, but it's got a little bit more woodsy flavor to it. You can use any mushrooms you like, but what we're using is 3 8-ounce containers, and we'll go ahead and chop these up and add them to the onions. Okay, well, we're chopped up here. These onions are smelling great, so I'm going to go ahead and dump these right in the pot. And we're going to saute these mushrooms until they lose all their liquids, and then we're going to keep cooking it until the liquids have mostly evaporated. So it's going to take probably about a good 20 minutes or so. We're going to go ahead and chop up some herbs. So the herbs that I like that go really well with this and the Pinot Noir is some rosemary and also some thyme. And we're just going to need like a half a teaspoon of each. So rosemary, I just grab the top of the branch, pull it down, kind of get the leaves off, and the same with the thyme. You can just kind of chop these up. Again, all this soup is going to be pureed, so there's no need to get perfect about any of the cuts. All right, so this is looking perfect now. You see that the water has kind of evaporated. We've cooked some of that off, and we're left with just that super concentrated mushroom flavor. So that's what we wanted. So to this, we're going to add some flour. This is a 1/4 cup of flour, and you just go ahead and put that right in, stir it around. And that's going to absorb any of the remaining kind of juices. And we want to cook this for just like a minute or so, just to kind of get that raw flour taste out of it. But the flour is going to help us later on to help thicken up the soup and give it some richness and texture. So what we're going to do now is add the wine. And this is going to help deglaze the pan, get kind of all those brown bits off the bottom. We're going to just give this a nice scrape with our wooden spoon. And we'll just cook this wine until it's reduced by half, maybe. So just kind of concentrate those flavors a little bit more. Okay, we are ready to add some chicken stock. And we'll just go ahead and add 6 cups of this into the pot. And we're going to go ahead and add a half a teaspoon of rosemary and a half a teaspoon of thyme. And we can go ahead and stir that in. And we're going to bring this up to a simmer and let this simmer 15 minutes uncovered, just again help kind of reduce this down and concentrate the flavors. Okay, so we've let this go for about 15 minutes. It's been simmering away nicely, reducing down just slightly, concentrating those flavors. So it's time to puree this. And to do that, I'm going to use an immersion blender, and all it takes is a push of a button. So here we go. So we're gonna keep pureeing this until it's like silky smooth. We don't want any kind of big mushroom chunks or anything. So we'll just keep pureeing this. So I've got 1 cup of heavy cream, and we're gonna go ahead and add that to the pot. That's gonna give it some nice richness and texture. And it is cream of mushroom soup after all. All right, and finally seasoning. So let's start with some salt. Now depending on the amount of salt that's in your chicken stock, it will vary the amount of salt you're gonna add to this. So I start with maybe just 1.5 teaspoons, and we could go up to 2.5 teaspoons. So we'll go ahead and add some salt and pepper and then taste. And we'll go ahead and get some pepper going. Start with maybe 1/2 teaspoon. Give that a stir. Make sure to stir it a little bit so you get that salt to dissolve in the soup. Okay, so we've stirred that seasoning in. Now it's time for a taste. Oh yeah, amazing. Yep, and we'll try that with a little bit of the wine. Perfect. All right, let's scoop some of this up. Now this would pair perfectly with a nice crusty baguette. Just garnish that with a little bit of fresh sprig of rosemary. So pour yourself a nice glass of our Pinot Noir, and what I think you have is the perfect fall afternoon. I think there's a few folks at the winery who might want some of this right now. For today's recipe and many others to pair with our wines, visit brysestate.com.